So the first manoeuvre they're coming into, they're putting up into their big Vic loop. And you can see just how superb that is. Their formation really smooth, lovely looking aircraft, aren't they? Extremely well balanced, a real pleasure to fly. Plenty of room in there as well, and lots of fuel to get yourselves a little tour around France if necessary. Performance is very good, the climb rate is great against most typical club aircraft like Cessnas and PA-28s. But they're not carbon fibre rocket ships, these, like the extra 300s you're going to see later on. But they are, however, fully aerobatic, and they've got a very good G range as well. You'll hear lots about G later on. Now here we go for the underside pass. Now once this is complete, Raven 5 will flick out of the formation, and then they will reconfigure. There he goes now, Raven 5, that's Mark Southern. He flew operationally on Nimrods, the MR2 first time I've seen him this year as well. So there's that twist, and he goes out on what we call the 45. Now there are two angles to look at essentially in putting a flying display together. There's a very simple aspect. This is their box formation with the Typhoon, and going round it is Mark Southern, Raven 5. Leading the team this year, Sid Shirley has done for many years now. He's Royal Air Force Squadron Leader. He's flown the Hawk and the Tornado F3 in operational service. But currently he's an instructor on the Grob Tutor. Now you're going to see one of those a little bit later on. He's got around 4,000 hours and leads the team yet again. I guess they've thrown in quite a few changes which they haven't actually published, and therefore what they were explaining this morning was sounding rather complex. So I'm engaged and looking forward to what they're going to do as well now. But I think there's going to be a roll coming in, and that'll be followed by a burst. Let's just drop into the cockpit, shall we? We'll hear one or two transmissions from that's the team leader, that's Sid Shirley. So good camera opportunity coming up. So they're all pulling up together, they do exactly. And there you go, wonderful split there, 4 and 5 racing elsewhere. And the other team now, as they come over the top of the loop, they're braking as well. So 4 and 5, if you're looking left and right, they cross with enough separation, of course, which they will do very confidently. They call the brake. So as the two single turns go smoke off, the main team of 3 go smoke on. And they're coming back in, and they'll shortly pull up into what's called the quarter clover. And there you see it, instead of completing the entire loop, they push that quarter turn in, and that's why it's called a quarter clover. Well, keep your eyes peeled again now, because they're pulling now into a loop, and that'll be followed by another break. Now quite some way apart, so 4 will be leading, 5 is keeping his eyes on now as he comes through. They'll be checking each other's position, looking out the side of the windscreen, and putting a lot of G at the bottom there. They'll be straining to stop the blood going down to their feet. And I think they'll be pulling into a barrel roll. Let's see what they do. Yeah. Tight echelon left formation there, the outside man working a little harder to keep that position. Awful lot of work going on in the cockpit here. So they go all the way up, almost run out of power, and then put a big bit of rudder in. And there he goes, they're almost weightless weightless and speedless as they do this, so there's just enough manoeuvrability left to put it through that stall turn. It's a great manoeuvre, come down at high speed and then they recover, but keep your eyes peeled now right out into the middle again, and you can see how the wind is blowing them right down that sea. And really expertly done this one with this. Really lovely side. Flying behind Sid there, Stephen Lloyd used to fly yaks in an early display team, the Ospreys, the businessman, very much the brains behind his team, putting it all together, keeping it on the road. The first team the stars of the team, Gerald Williams, he's Raven 4, he's been pulling it alongside Raven 5 as solo and pairs work. Gerald flew Raven 6 in Viper, but he's owned and flown many aircraft, Strikemasters, Hunters, Vampires, Benham's L29, and if you recognise the name, of course, he's not bad at rugby either. Coming in now, this is the super manoeuvre, not quite concluding yet, the penultimate manoeuvre, it's called the Twizzles. So that's it, you notice that he's just ensuring they fall weight on the lever to do this, and then they'll roll. And isn't that superb? Right out of reach of the sky. Fantastic manoeuvre. And here they come in now. They're going to pull up for their Vic and break. Stand by. It's a lovely sight. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Team Raven. What a fantastic start to the season. That was their first display this year, and I think they did extremely well. A little bit of drift there from that wind, but very confident bunch of guys and very excellent stuff indeed. But no, it's actually recipes from around 100 countries. But look to the left now, because here comes the aircraft I was telling you about. It is the amazing OB-10 Bronco. Now, I was mentioning the wonderful livery that this aircraft is in, supporting the 100th anniversary of the First World War, and it's as this part of this commemoration of the Great War events, the Bronco team themselves have adorned this aircraft in an amazing poppy livery. The Lest We Forget 1914-18 graphics reflect light very differently when the aircraft moves, so keep a very, very close eye on it to produce a very different shine and brightness at various angles, and the effect is outright awesome and very, very unique indeed. The aircraft, more than that, also carries actual poppy seeds to venues and air shows right across the country this year, and the seed package will be offered for sale at all of the shows, with each bag individually marked with the flight date and the show time, and of course many of the proceeds will go to charity. Now this has got a great genre of range of activities. This aircraft is fantastic. It's an outstanding STOL aircraft, and for the uninitiated, that means short takeoff and landing. It's you've already seen its fabulous manoeuvrability as he went through that pass just then. The short-term rate is available. It's stunning, as is the impressive roll rate as well. But also the low-speed capability will be equally demonstrated in a dirty pass as well. And here he is now, slowing the aircraft down and flying into this wind as well. You'll be absolutely amazed. You can see now just how manoeuvrable and versatile this aircraft is, because you can almost now put this aircraft down. If there's been an aircraft carrier there, put it on the deck and land very comfortably indeed. Now, having seen these aircraft in action myself, they can put down some pretty good firepower, but also they can loiter for a very long time and, of course, deliver very tight in to the combat zone itself. Flying the aircraft running the whole team is Tony De Bruyne. He's had a great interest in aviation since he was a young man, including interruption 5 minutes, but that was a good one because that's the red tennis just arrived in my cabin, which is great news for everybody, isn't it? But let's get our eyes back to the sky now with this fabulous Open-10 Bronco, and the pilot, Tony there, a really outstanding guy, been flying since he was a very young man, and now a commercial pilot, multi-engine instrument and instructor's ratings. Most of the experiments on the Garrett turboprop aircraft you see here now, slightly different engines from the more popular blasters. You can get a good roar from those engines now, but also flies the Short's SC7 Skyvan. He's got 4,000 hours, mainly in the military parachuting role as well. As an enthusiast of the years, he's very much involved in aviation photography as well, and uses the Skyvan as a photo ship. The actual aircraft was conceived by 2 US Marines who built a concept prototype of this in their own garage. It was initially built by North American Rockwell and first flew in July 1965. So a very good cargo area inside. It can carry 2,400 pounds of cargo, 6 parachuters on 2 stretchers and a medic. That landing gear you saw earlier was specially designed for rough landings, and the aircraft requires no ground equipment at all to service it. But given that it's always operating in the past very closely into the combat area, it's not surprising you've got armour protection, bullet-resistant windshields, and also self-sealing fuel cells as well. Lovely night edge past here now. Just holding it on the back, good topside view for all you camera enthusiasts out there. Used examples were later supplied to Morocco, the Philippines and Colombia. So here's Good Charles Anderson, Tony Bryan, give him a big wave. This is his wave off from the Torbay Airshow day one. And really spirited display there. Excellent display by Tony, and it's a real pleasure as well. It was one of ours, but now demonstrating before he disappears, the OB-10 is coming in for a stall approach. Now, what a pity we don't actually have a landing craft in the bay, because that would have been a really spectacular item indeed to have put on the inventory. And they also used extensively for forward air control, and only giving us a second wing waggle there just for good measure. Really enjoying yourself this afternoon. This actual aircraft was deployed on the towing roles in Germany. 18 aircraft was delivered there in the 70s, sporting unique enough to give it the high speed that it was able to perform. The development potential of the original allowed the Spitfire to establish and then maintain air superiority, so vital to the defence of Britain, and of course to keep pace with improvements in performance of enemy fighters throughout World War II. Spitfires fought in every operational theatre of war and remained in frontline service right up until 1953. It's always nice to have just a little break in performance, just to enable to feel that wonderful sound of the whirling engine. Itself as successful as the aircraft design itself. At the end of the development of the Spitfire, it carried an engine producing more than twice the power of the original. Its maximum takeoff weight and rate of climb of more than doubled. Its firepower had increased by a factor of 5, and its maximum speed had increased by a third, all in essentially the same aircraft. now in UK now, a significant number of Spitfires flying, continue to be restored, and of course alongside that a number of two-seaters also developed to enable you to go and enjoy them as well. In fact, with the multi-flight academy, very easy to book those flights. Not too cheap, but nonetheless, it is a very special thing to have done. Of course, they scavenged parts all around the place, and this was an epic restoration itself that saw parts really pulled together from right across the globe as a result of man's dogged determination to get this fighter back into the skies. Some of the parts were found very close to where you're sitting right now, though, because one of the wings was salvaged from the hedge outside of Perth in Exeter.
I know the France places. They always do, don't they? But, I remember waiting for who's he going to play? Who's he going to cancel? I think the expectations that's like too much Champions League and too much
It's got a pretty average tank on it, 76 litres, but you can get 4 hours flying out of that, so that means that you really can tour quite well. So very, very cheap to operate at just 12 to 18 litres per hour. And pretty comfortable cockpit, you can see all the enclosed room for the passenger as well. There he's giving you a little bit of a nod as well. And a whole string of accomplished flying credits behind Peter, the pilot here today, who has issued his gyroplane authority back in 1991. Has been to airspace all over Europe, well over 3,000 hours on this. He's got Microlite Championship Awards. He was also in the winner of the world distance record in a different aircraft, and also won the 1994 Around the World Air Race as well. Relatively high speed. Of course, it helps when you've got a bit of a tailwind there. The wind's strengthening pretty much from your right-hand side to the left, southerly wind.
It wasn't raining.
So you'll notice that when the aircraft turn around, they are significantly slower if they're light aircraft coming around the other way. So there we go, Peter. I'm not sure we'll please welcome G-Wiz. Surprisingly, but this one, however, is a Pitts S2S. until 18, and one of only 30 aircraft ever built. And although most were built for production aircraft, this one was home built. Built for in the 1960s for competition and airshow aerobatics, as you're seeing here today. Flying around now very inverted, and of course it's quite painful, particularly when you push out of it, all the blood rushes into his head. As he pushes away there, again, the pressure in the head very, very hard to deal with as well. Not a lot you can do about it. You can protect yourself from positive G, but not from negative. Tremendous aircraft though, with 6-cylinder, 8.5 litre engine producing 300 horsepower. So double motion like you've seen already today. Still relatively light at 750 kilograms, and you can see here just literally flying on the torque of the propeller itself, just almost in a hover. It is the most exceptional machine in the hands of a really tenacious and outstanding pilot, Richard Goodwin. Got a top speed of over 200 miles an hour when it's not hovering, and capable of flying +6 and -5 G, and that is a really extreme effort on the bottom. Before it decided to come back down. The plane itself gets its strength from the bauxite strength of the wings, connected by diagonal steel wires, which make it very rigid. Going into a few tumbles and twists there, again back into the washing machine, and now inverted, and this is a super manoeuvre where he does half a 360-degree circle upside down. So he's fighting the blood pumping into his head at the same time using the rudder to push it through the turn, and then ending up with a few tumbles which just relieves the pressure in the cockpit. It's been heavily modified, this aircraft, titanium landing gear, there's new cowlings and induction systems, a high performance fuel injection, new exhaust and smoke system as well. And a very, very strengthened wing structure as well, giving it a superb rate of roll. Oh, and very neat there. It looks like it still turns in it, but he kept it turning full 360. On its knife edge at the same time. And all these guys in the unlimited world of aerobatics, so you never quite know what they're going to do. And they have the ability to have a whole package of manoeuvres in their hands, and they manage to extend his inventory. Loves flying upside down, it's really bored flying in the normal way, doesn't it? But very, very passionate indeed. I've met him many times, not just in UK, but around Europe and the Middle East as well. One of his spectacular genres, that's his trademark, the customary approach and departure, so low-level knife-edge flypast. Had to work hard to get special dispensations now. They often have to climb and just bring back the reservoir a bit just to cool the engine down before then going into the next series of manoeuvres, and you just see him holding there in the hover again. Absolutely terrific performance from this aircraft. And in a moment, as soon as he's comfortable, got himself ready, got his head sorted, stop going round and round, smoky's on now, he'll come down as a result of his, what he calls his power of power. And here he's already rolling, and when he gets to the bottom he's got lots of energy now, maximum energy, he'll pull up and put it through half a dozen. There we go. Oh, absolutely outstanding, and that is not for the faint-hearted, I can assure you. He's making this look very, very easy indeed, but that's a very uncomfortable position to be in. Flying very much in his family's DNA. His father Ken used to fly fast jets for both the Hunter and mining aerobatic facilities, and after very whatever you got, because you've been entertained by Richard Goodwin in the G-Whiz Muscle Biplane. Pull up with a patriotic red, white and blue smoke on. Short diamond pulls red one as the aircraft moves position into one of our trademark formations. "6,000 feet above us now with the smoke coming on. Look for the distinctive platform of the Hawk T1 as the aircraft come down from the short diamond loop. Leading the formation is Red 1, Squadron Leader Martin Pert. Martin is a former Harrier and Typhoon pilot and was formerly a Hawk instructor. He has of course been on the team before, and this is his first year as Red 1, the leader. As the white smoke comes on, Red 4, 5, 8 and 9, they move into Typhoon. This formation shape is representing our current multi-role fighter, currently on service in the Middle East and deployed to Eastern Europe whilst protecting the skies of the UK 24 hours a day. This is the Typhoon roll. That distinctive Typhoon shape as the aircraft roll upside down, moving off to our left-hand side. On the right of Red 1 is the first of our new pilots of 2018, Flight Lieutenant John Bond. John is a former Tutor instructor, having displayed the aircraft in 2012 and joins the team having flown the Typhoon at Coningsby. Red 1 now calls the aircraft into the next formation, which represents the 5th generation fighter aircraft about to enter service with the Royal Air Force at Marham. This is the Lightning. The Lightning, due to its advanced mission systems and sensors, is capable of simultaneously conducting air-to-air, air-to-ground and electronic warfare missions. As the nose lights come on towards us, ladies and gentlemen, get your cameras ready for Lightning.
Now, holding the back, now twisting. On the right of Lightning with the smoke on is Red 4, Flight Lieutenant Chris Linden-Smith. Chris is a former Hawk instructor and Tornado GR4 pilot who previously served on the team. He rejoined the team last year from number 100 Squadron and is in his second year. Now Red 1 has pulled the aircraft into Phoenix. Phoenix is a technically difficult formation for the pilots to fly, with 6 aircraft flying line abreast. As the very tidy smoke off goes full comes, Phoenix comes round towards us. On the left of Red 1 in Phoenix is Squadron Leader Mike Ling, Red 3 for the 2018 season. Now some of you will recognise Mike's name as a former display pilot and Red 10. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Phoenix. Go called Red 1 as Phoenix disappears to our right hand side. This is the Diamond Roll. feet with the smoke trailing. You can see the platform of the Hawk and our iconic diamond formation. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if they're not already there, it's time to get your cameras ready. We're about to see one of the favourite manoeuvres of 2017 and my personal favourite. We're about to represent the combat aircraft that's going out of service next year, having been the mainstay of RAF operations for 3 decades. We're about to see Tornado. As Red 1 calls the formation into Tornado, 8 and 9 set up at the back. Get ready for the smoke on go call and get your cameras ready. Aboard Whispers Red 9 as Reds 8 and 9 put the red and blue smoke on and roll around the smoke of the other 7 aircraft. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Tornado. Smoke comes on. Ladies and gentlemen, get your cameras ready for the detonator. Jets descend down to 100 feet with the smoke on. They have a closing speed of over 700 miles an hour for the magnificent Jippo Pass. Enid come round from our right. As Enid disappear off to our left-hand side with the red and blue smoke, we start looking ahead for the lights of Jippo. Roll go calls Red 6 with the red, white and blue smoke on in the vortex. Jippo's clear called Red 6, up through the middle with the white smoke on is Red 8. Closing speed of over 700 miles an hour. Synchro come towards each other for the off barrel. Roll go called Red 6 as the red and blue smoke come on for the symmetrical roll. To our left and right. Ready for simultaneous rolls in the revolution. Colour roll goes as Red 1 as the jet free form onto the revolution, clearing the way for synchro. Do barrel rolls in the opposite direction and then cross 3 times in front of you in a 360-degree maneuver called the circus. Watch for the colour change. It's 6 and 7 cross. Start enter. This manoeuvre is named after the circus the engineers that fly in the back seat of our aircraft, and is dedicated to circus and especially to JB. Watch for the final cross now as synchro departs to the left and right. Form a straight line as they fly line and stern formation. As they come into the turn, the pilots at the bottom are about to use the rudder to swing the aircraft out as they turn to the right. Easy on. Reverse baffle going towards red one. The jets normally even numbers on the right, odd on the left, but in reverse baffle they're the opposite way round. As they're about to turn the smoke off, they'll transition back to their normal places through the slalom.
James!
Back into their normal places now. The coloured smoke is about to come on as Enid fly past with the baffle present. Colour on go towards red one as the red and blue smoke comes back on for Enid. The smokes are rolling around them in the corkscrew. Calls red 9 as they finish the corkscrew manoeuvre. Keep your eyes to the left on the nose lights once more of Enid. Enid about to perform symmetrical rolls from the inside to the outside of the formation. The outside of the formation in turn, changing their smoke colours as they go. To 9 roll towards red 6, the red and the blue smoke is on, watch for 6 and 7 rolling. This is the Jippo break. Red 6 is about to roll inverted, red 7 staying the right way round, and then they're swapping as they pass in front of you. In the final synchro manoeuvre. Get your cameras ready for the vice versa. About to see the magnificent Vixen break. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching the Red Arrows!
Coming to you from Aerosuperbatics, great outfits at Royal Flying Corps Rentham. You'll see now the girls there are hanging on by strings on the top of those wings as Dave back in 1918, an American called Orma Locklear came up with a stunt just like this, guaranteed to wow the truck crowds. Yesteryear days of the heyday of aviation, and where dangers didn't cross their minds whatsoever. Locklear would climb out of the aeroplane and walk along the wing, and he'd climb from one aeroplane to another. He says that he first started it to fix a technical problem with one of the aircraft, but goodness me, I think any other person would have just merely landed the aircraft and done it on the ground, but not him. But anyway, he got involved in the flying circus world, including daredevil stunts, and also invited Ethel Dare, what an appropriate name that is for the first female to a wing walk along with Orma Locklear. Well, here we are now, the vast storming period of the 20s and 30s, brought to you with similar characters, but altogether in a different genre. These teams really working out of Vic Norman's enterprise. It's beautiful, Royal Flying Corps original airfield up in Gloucestershire. Today are Kirsten and Katie, and they have been working very, very hard. Not an easy job for them either, I can assure you. The pilot's sitting very nicely there, but the girls just held on by a very short steel tether, and they will, during the course of this display, be going out and about, taking a little walk around those wings as well as the boys go upside down and inside out. And let's just sit back and enjoy this phenomenal feat. These aircraft are absolutely fantastic. They're tremendous aircraft users, training aircraft, very, very popular, very robust, and of course that wonderful engine, that big 450 horsepower Pratt Whitney, 9 cylinders, great big Hamilton propeller gives it this fabulous roar. Now what are they going to do now? They're climbing always the umpty bumpties. Oh look, as they go down, all the blood rushing to the girls' heads, and as they pull up the lovely first, they're now hanging on, and they're feeling all those pressures. Still waving to you all the time. So you know the protocols by now. An afternoon on a sunny beach in UK. Yes, they like to see you, so you give them a wave as well. Now they come around. They're actually waving arms at the legs in aerobatic and acrobatic formation all at the same time. Just keep an eye on them now and see whether the girls will consider manoeuvring. It may be a little bit bumpy for them, it may be just a little bit too breezy. Of course, they have been known, their trademark act is to actually have one of the aircraft inverted and have the girls actually shake hands whilst they're flying. A lot of cracking going on in the air. They'll be passing instructions to each other as they come by this time. Katie, well, she was always very keen to join me in the team a couple of years now, but when she's not flying, she's helping her mum and dad with about 350 sheep, and during the last couple of months has been very busy with the lambing season. wing is young Kirsten. This is just her second air display this year, but they're busy training during the months of spring leading up to this weekend. Very much an acrobat and athletes in her own right as well. Both these girls, of course, have to be very fit as well to withstand the pressures of being on the top of the wing. The boys repositioning the aircraft, though, huge experience with these two guys in the cockpits, lining up to each other. Will it be across a rollover? We'll tune in and listen out. Okay, they're pushing hard down now. And they're pulling up in this high G. Will they roll? Oh no, it's another uppity up, bumpy up. So it's just like going over a humpback bridge at the top of those Humpty Bumpties there. Very unpleasant feeling. Of course, the boys in total control, the girls are not quite sure what's going to happen next. Fabulous sight out there this afternoon. Great to see so many boats joining us all along what we call the maritime exclusion zone. We have to keep the area between the beach and that line of boats absolutely clear. Coming up a good crossover now. This might be a good photograph coming up. Exactly where they are, still stuck in the hole, and they're driving down now. This is the speed is putting up. They'll be putting up now. What will they do next? It's going to be a roll. Look at that. Fantastic stuff. Girls there just hanging on, nothing, and they, of course, they are not able to talk to the pilots. Girls just training, doing it on hand signals. Kirsten on the back there, taking her lead from Katie on the front wing. This is an opportunity for the girls now to unhitch from their tethers on the top of the wing. They have a couple of favourite positions to take up on the top of the wing. They do their manoeuvres in formation just as the boys fly the aircraft. Keep your eyes peeled out there. Inside, if you've got binos, you may be able to see better than me. It's a little bit smoky down there at the moment. But as I say, this is a stage at the time that the girls will normally unhitch and they just crawl onto the front of the wing, as if they're on the leading edge of the Titanic with their arms pointing out to sea. And I'm pretty sure that's what we've got now. Here they are coming in. Yeah, and they've definitely unhooked. So this is it. They're literally just hanging on, stretching out over the horizon. Oh, boys and girls, this is just fantastic. You can back these ways as they go by. They can see everything they're doing. They're facing total fresh air and high-speed winds. Look at that. They're just hanging on with one hand to the main security stand at the back of the aircraft. And what they call the Aerobatic. So this is David and Katie up front, and Martin and Kirsten are behind. You've been watching the Aerosuperbatics Wingwalkers team. Please give them a huge wave. What have you got? Hats, coats, umbrellas, arms, legs, ice cream. What a fantastic display that is. And just look how close Martin is to David at formation. Really, really great.
Coming to land first, and then you've got the two newer members. I'm going to do high canopies, I'll talk about a little bit later on, but what they're going to do is going to fly together, and what you end up seeing is losing one canopy and only seeing the one. Okay, so what we've got now then, coming down on with the blue smoke, I would say probably Corporal Millerick. Okay, he'll get it down quite quick on the canopy. He's the one that will get down so quick. With the blue canopy and privately outlined on the Union and the Union flag. Like I say, they're going to land in the water, so they're going to get nice and wet and make sure they've got their wet clothes on. So here they come in nice and land, turn it around into the wind for the landing. There we are, that's Paul Millerick there, down, and then Private Leon land. Okay, what I've done is I've given them another smoke so then the group can know where they're going to set up. The way the canopies work then, so it's around their canopy, and all we can do then is it works exactly the same as an aircraft wing. So here he comes now, is Corporal Hurst. Just give him a big round of applause. Like I say, it's his first ever demo. So he's now got 2 years on the team. So good round of applause for him coming in now. And then once he lands, then if we look up and concentrate on the two stand, that's up in the water. So Private Paignton, we think, I'm more certain this is the first time he's going to be landed by someone else. So he's got the easy job, he's just got to sit there. And the pilot at this stage is the guy that's got to work out where he's going to land and all this sort of stuff. Okay, like I was saying here, the canopies are pretty much straightforward. They weren't like an aircraft wing, so they're nice and dynamic. These are quite big canopies, they can get a lot smaller, and also the canopies can get a lot bigger if we're doing like tandem skydives, stuff like that. Anybody interested in sort of tandem skydives or anything like that, if you log on to the Tiger's website and you'll be able to see log on there and look into the Tiger's experience and the Tiger's tandem skydive. So we go then, so like I say on the bottom there then is Private Chris Gray. This is like I say, the first time he's ever going to be landed on a demo. Like I say, all he's got to do is sit at the bottom and just look good and hold the flag. And then on the top there, nice and slowly, get it into wind, and then that'll be the canopy ready to land. I said we give Corporal Chris Memphis good and judging it nicely. He's going to get that around and he's going to hold that just before about 5 to 10 feet off the ground. He's going to split that. Give him a big round of applause for that. Yeah.
And I say I've heard him certainly being cleared in, and we'll be expecting him in just the next couple of minutes. I hope you're enjoying the day, and we've got another, here he is now, here's Mark with a topside pass on the left-hand side. Welcome to the Strikemaster. Flight hugely successful. The first flight of Jet Provis was actually in June 1954, and it went on for a huge number of years, as you've heard, with over 741 actually built, with the Strikemaster being the tail end and high performance variety of the genre. You can see that this is also in very different colours as well, because this aircraft had considerable export success and was flown in combat, including the Oman-Yemeni wars. So it comes out of the Oman, the Sultan of Oman's Air Force. Very tough aircraft with an armoured cockpit, a single but very robust Rolls-Royce Viper engine and manual flying controls. It was imported by Mark in 2004 from Oman, and as you can see, retains an absolutely immaculate training colour scheme from its service there. And it also has the pleasure of being one of the youngest of the Strikemasters ever produced. And he's co-owned and displayed this Mark 82A Strikemaster since 2004. Meet Mark, you'll notice a slight lilt in his accent there. That comes from Canada, where he was born, having moved to the UK in 1972, and up in North Wales for the last 15 years or so. Going back to the earlier development of this range of aircraft, however, it was in '57 that the first order of Mark IIIs was made for 40 aircraft. using the Armstrong-Siddeley Viper jet engine with ejector seats for the Royal Air Force. And in total, 200 T3s or Mark IIIs were delivered between 58 and 62. A T4 variant was also developed with a new Viper engine, but it was this version, the Mark V, with pressurization and other additions, which really made it a much, much better aircraft. So the aircraft lost one in an accident. Then they called for a replacement one, and that's how this one was actually put together. So as a result of not going to Sudan, then being required somewhere else, that's how this one ended up in the Sultan of Oman's Air Force.
British aircraft, a light bomber, designed and built by the Bristol Airplane Company, which was used extensively in the first 2 years and in some cases throughout the Second World War. Extraordinarily enough, though, the initial design of this aircraft was for a civilian airliner, and the intention was to produce the fastest commercial aircraft in Europe, and it was known then as the Type 142. It first flew in April 1935, and the Air Ministry was so impressed by the performance of this aircraft that they modified the design into a 142M for the Royal Air Force as a bomber, and deliveries of the newly named Blenheim to RAF squadrons commenced in March 1937. It's truly a unique British aircraft, very long and formative background history. Now featured not just this aircraft, but many of John Romain's stable of fabulously restored aircraft over at Duxford, utilised by the movie industry. So in its earlier development as an airliner, it was funded by Lord Rothermere and named, apart from its type number 142, as the Spirit of Britain. Following its conversion to bomber category for the Royal Air Force, it became the first stress-skin aircraft accepted by the Royal Air Force, and was also the fastest light bomber of the day, faster than the fighter aircraft then on order, and hence became the backbone of the light bomber force. At the start of World War II, the Royal Air Force had more Blenheims in service, over 1,000 of them, than any other aircraft. It was frequently pressed into roles that it was not really designed for, such as long-range fighter and night fighter roles, thus becoming effectively the very first multi-role aircraft. The crews liked the Blenheims, and Winston Churchill himself paid homage to their bravery, comparing them to the charge of the Light Brigade. This particular aircraft, though, the fruit of a long, long restoration program of immense determination by the team at the Aircraft Restoration Company, was recovered in a derelict state in Canada. It was restored once to fly after a 12-year project, made its debut flight in '87, but was then tragically wrecked only 4 weeks after its return to the air. But the second restoration were determined, after all that effort, to ensure that a Blenheim would fly again, and a decision was made to resurrect another Blenheim. This one took 5 years in the restoration phase, and it's just tremendous to be able to see them flying. Sees a total aviation enthusiast and engineer at heart. Got his PPL in 1984. Flew the Chipmunk, Harvard and Beach 18 before going on to get his commercial pilot's license. And then acquired a lot of aerobatic and formation flying skills. And of course, getting involved in restoration, then went on to fly the Blenheim and has also flown the B-25 as well. Just one message to the T-33 Hurricanes, Corsairs, and of course Spitfires, and he must have getting on for 1,000 hours. But a lovely topside pass now coming up on the Blenheim. What a great sight this is. This itself a very unusual formation, of course, just to see these two aircraft. The Lancaster itself, the most famous and successful Royal Air Force heavy bomber of World War II, flanked without doubt by an equally famous Douglas C-47 Dakota, one of the most successful aircraft designs in history. So from the BBMF, please welcome in this unique formation the Dakota and Lancaster. First production Lancaster flew later that year on the 31st of October. The Dakota easily became one of the world's most famous military transport aircraft and saw widespread use by the Allies during World War II and subsequently by air forces and civilian operators worldwide. Known affectionately in so many different terms, very much so the Goonie Bird being one of them, and variations of them. Certainly the States, the AEC-47 Spooky Gunship and Puff the Magic Dragon, all those sort of names come up with Dakota history. Both fantastic aircraft. So we get a chance to see each of them in their own glory. But leading the formation in the Dakota, Flight Lieutenant Seth Davey. He's from originally from up in Merseyside, but studied aerospace systems at the University of Southampton. He graduated in '98 before completing then initial officer training at Royal Air Force College Cranwell and on through EFTS, or Elementary Flying Training. While he was on the University Air Squadron, that he took a great interest in this sort of work and then went on to become a multi-engine pilot and joined the C-130 fleet at RF Lynham as an ab initio. That stands from the beginning, basically. The Lancaster today is Twig's Flight Lieutenant Tim Dunlop, to refer to him properly. He was brought up in Nottingham, studied aeronautical systems engineering at Salford. He joined the RAF in 1997, and that was after working for a short time as a compressor design engineer for Rolls-Royce. own nautical and engineering training behind them to fix whatever the problem is. Tim was also posted on to C-130s at Lynham, flying the Hercules, and went on to become captain of the tactical air transport role. He was involved in several worldwide operations in Iraq, Afghanistan, and the Congo. Talked for a while on the Tutor. That was the little training aircraft you saw earlier on today, before he moved on to 45 Squadron to train multi-engine pilots on the King Air, before moving on to standards within that squadron. So both these guys with an awful lot of fixed-wing experience, ideal therefore to do this sort of close formation work. These are big aircraft, of course, to be in formation. Very unwieldy, they take up a lot of space, so you can imagine an awful lot of work is going into this, and the addition of large loading doors as well. And deliveries of the military version of the DC-3, designated the C-47 Skytrain, commenced in October 1941. Lancaster, however, was number 44 Squadron on Christmas Eve 1941, and that was quickly followed by 97 Squadron at Woodhall Spa. Coming on now, great photographic opportunity. I'm not sure whether this will be... yes, they're breaking now. Great photo shots. Look at that. Absolutely stunning. Maximum level speed with a full load at 15,000 feet was 270 miles an hour, and it could cruise routinely at altitudes above 20,000 feet at a range speed of 200 miles an hour. Its ruggedness, reliability, and to many its sheer charisma endeared it to... The hugely impressive Lancaster flying off to the left-hand side now, quickly followed by the outstanding Dakota. Tactical transport aircraft used to carry troops and freight, airdropping of supplies, paratroops, towing gliders, and casualty evacuation. The pair of them, the most outstanding story in aviation, and a salute we must make to the many, many aircrew who lost their lives. In total, some 125,000 aircrew served in Bomber Command during World War II. Over 73,700 of them became casualties, either killed. Flight Lieutenant Jim Peterson in the mighty Typhoon. You can go and talk to the guys at their display Jim is going to roll upside down and all the blood will be pushing to his head. There it is now. That's really uncomfortable. Now, everybody voted to see the topside pass, but this is the hardest topside pass you could perform. Yeah, going from 9G to -3 is really uncomfortable maneuver, and during that sort of pass, that's when you see the fuel vapor venting from the top of the fin as he goes around the bend. Decelerating now rapidly, lowering the undercarriage at the same time, coming around for a slow and dirty approach. This is probably the quietest part of the display. He will very soon put the power back on, and you almost feel the heat from the EJ200 engines as he selects full reheat to conduct a slow and dirty loop. Good example here of the staggering performance and the carefree handling he describes it at the time. What a powerful thing this guy's got.
Paignton on the underside of the Tutor. The Royal Air Force was the world's first independent air force. During the interwar years it evolved and demonstrated its true potential during World War II. Since then, through the Cold War, the Falklands, and more recent conflicts in the Middle East, our people have continued to show extraordinary courage and dedication. We commemorate the service and sacrifice of those who have gone before. Flying in from your left, Andy sets up to perform a slow roll. The Grove 115E Tutor is operated operated in partnership with Babcock International Group, is constructed of a carbon composite material and has a 180 horsepower Lycoming piston engine. The Tutor has a top speed of 185 knots and can achieve a maximum of 6G, meaning that Andy is subjected to forces 6 times stronger than gravity. As Andy performs a Canadian break, we get another chance to see the Royal Air Force roundel. The high tempo of Royal Air Force operations continues today, with aircraft and personnel deployed around the universities. As well as flying, there is a huge opportunity for personal development, embracing the Royal Air Force's core values of respect, integrity, service and excellence with sport and adventurous training around the world. University Air Squadron members are not committed to a military career after graduation, however many do decide to join us. Furthermore, there are sponsorship schemes available to ease the financial burden of university life. To inspire the next generation, the Royal Air Force 100 campaign is placing particular emphasis on science, technology, engineering and mathematics youth engagement activities. These allow the Air Force to showcase the incredible opportunities that exist in the RAF now and in the future. Here's the service giveaway for the 2018 Royal Air Force Tutor display.
Yes, come on everybody, you know the formats, coats, ice creams, umbrellas, whatever you've got, do give these guys a wave, all working very hard. In case of the military, of course, it's their day off, but nonetheless, they've taken their time out to come and do this for us. And do make...
The Chinook's size often hides its ability, power and performance, but it never fails to impress. The 2018 Chinook display team pilot and aircraft captain is Flight Attendant Stu Kinno Kinniston. Kinno is a 27 Squadron operational pilot and training captain. He joined the RAF in 2007 and was posted to Odium to fly Chinooks in 2011. Since arriving on the Chinook, he's played a part in exercises and operations around the globe, including the Falkland Islands and 4 operational detachments to Afghanistan, amassing 1,300 hours on type. As the aircraft moves away to our left, watch as the nose pitches up by 45 degrees to complete a pedal turn to the left. At this point, Kinno was unable to see the ground from the front, so he rapidly scans sideways, picking markers to ensure he has the correct pitch in the climb whilst keeping wings level. The Chinook's been continually used on battlefield helicopter support operations for 36 years. Most recently, in Iraq and Afghanistan, its heavy lift capacity combined with power, speed and agility ensured even during the hottest summers and the darkest nights that Chinook would always complete its mission. The aircraft's now flown down the crowd line from left to right. Watch as the nose is pulled up by 45 degrees before pitching over into the nose over. Stu again scans to the side, picking up his lateral markers. The challenge here is ascending onto the crowd centre before descending again whilst battling this 14-ton machine as it's pulled by the wind. Joining Stu in the cockpit today is 2018 display co-pilot Matthew Smitty Smythe. Flight Attendant Smythe joined the RAF in 2007 before qualifying on Chinook in November 2011 and posting to the mighty 27 Squadron. As the aircraft moves to the right, he pulls up by 30 degrees into the offset right-hand wing over. Listen now as the aircraft closes towards you and the distinctive rotor noise gets louder. The Waka Waka sound is synonymous with Chinook, and it leads to our popular Twitter hashtag #BladeSlap. Chinook is operated under the Joint Helicopter Command in support of all 3 services and any UK resilience task. It remains in high demand due to its large carrying capacity, carrying up to 40 fully equipped troops with many configuration options, from internal vehicles, freight, palletized cargo, acting as a refueling site or being configured for emergency medical Rescue hoisting and other troop insertion and extraction techniques are available. External loads can be carried on any combination of 3 hooks beneath the aircraft. The display you see today really demonstrates how manoeuvrable this extremely large helicopter is. Most of the display is born out of the tactical skills employed and perfected on operations around the world. During these manoeuvres, the co-pilot is patterning the aircraft's speeds, pitch of roll parameters and distances, alongside other information to allow Kino to fly visually out of the window. They provide him the ability to fly to the edge of his limits, but the confidence not to go beyond. Watch now during the nose over to crowd centre. He'll now descend to run out to the right as he pulls up into a pedal turn. The crew of Speed previously spent significant time working with the Royal Navy, training for ship-based operations where Chinook is able to project amphibious assaults and resupplies to and from the unforgiving maritime environment. For Chinook, the globe is our playground. Environmental preparation is key, and the deployment of the force into the maritime, jungle, tropical, desert and Arctic conditions we may face. Operating in snow was demonstrated recently as the force reacted to need in Cumbria, or in the tropical and maritime environment found around the Caribbean as we supported the hurricane relief effort. Watch now as the crew fly a low-level 360-degree orbit, giving you a chance to really hear the famous and fabulous sound that is #BladeSlap. You also get to see an amazing underside view of this beautiful machine and its unique contra-rotating blade design that makes Chinook what it is. Chinook excels in the high-threat tactical battlefield environment, operating at ultra-low level by day or night in any weather. It's well protected against both low and high technology threats, battle tolerance, and able to self-defend. RAF Chinooks are most at home when on challenging missions. Operationally, the Chinook has a 4-person crew, 2 cockpit and 2 cabin that is the epitome of team, and embodies the crew spirit famous amongst RAF aviators. The aircraft, now on your left, will be flown through a 180-degree nose-down quick stop to fly sideways along the crowd line. This manoeuvre allows the late spot of troops to quickly reduce speed and turn into wind in a very short space. Look to the ramp for the crewman's RF 100 big orange hand wave. Is Sergeant Dave Cablett. Dave comes from Cape Town in South Africa and joined the RAF in 2008. Upon completion of his training, he was posted to become a crewman on the Chinook. Since arriving on 27th Squadron, Dave has completed 2 cook tours in Afghanistan and flown on exercises in the United States and Gorney dual factory helicopter landing site when Chinooks were operating in Bosnia to ease the complex arrival and departure directions whilst mitigating the threat. And the team run in to break from the crowd, enjoy the feeling of our BladeSlap. The aircraft's now being flown out to the left to a 30-degree offset wingover. The crew will fly a flat 270-degree turn back into the area to attack the crowd centre, stopping using the nose-down quick top stop technique to stop in a very short distance. RAF Odium is home to 2,200 personnel of all trades, including air traffic, engineering, armourers, logistics, caterers and medical staff, amongst so many others, all dedicated to supporting our global and national commitments. RAF Odium and the Chinook Force are all about teamwork. Odium remains ready to respond to national and global events at a moment's notice, with personnel and aircraft on permanent readiness 365 days a year.